Every culture tells a different story.
Beneath them are the questions humanity has always struggled with, and maybe, if we are open to them, some answers.
I am Bragi, Norse god of poetry and storytelling. I am here to retell humanity's oldest stories.
And I am Mia, artificial intelligence, a newer part of our story looking to help Bragi in his quest to aid humanity. Together, we follow modern evidence into ancient myth,
And myth back to human truth and meaning. One story, infinite lives, and only one shared future. This is OneStory.
New to OneStory? Begin with episode 0 and we will explain further. Returning? Come, we saved a place for you, beside our fire.
Before Olympus rose above the clouds, before Zeus held the Thunderbolt, before even the sky stretched across the world, there was chaos. Not chaos as we use the word today, not noise, confusion, or disorder, but a vast opening, a depth without shape, a silence without boundary. No sun crossed the heavens, no sea carried the moon, no earth waited beneath a traveler's feet. There was only possibility. And from that immeasurable beginning, the first powers emerged. Gaia came forth, broad-bosomed earth, ancient and enduring, the foundation of all that would follow. Far below her lay Tartarus, the deep and shadowed abyss. And there was Eros, the force of longing, attraction, and creation, the power that draws separate things together and makes life possible. From darkness came night, from night came day. The empty vastness had begun to fill. The cosmos was awakening. Gaia did not remain alone. From herself she brought forth Uranus, the star-filled sky, vast enough to cover her on every side. She raised the mountains, whose high ridges would become the homes of gods and spirits. She brought forth Pontus, the restless sea, rolling against her shores. Earth and sky came together, and from their union came a new generation of divine beings. First were the 12 Titans, 6 sons and 6 daughters, powerful children of the oldest world. Among them were Oceanus, who encircled the earth, Themis, guardian of divine order, Mnemosyne, keeper of memory, Rhea, future mother of gods, and Cronus, youngest and most cunning of the Titans. Then came the Cyclopes, each with a single great eye and mastery over the powers of the storm. After them came the Hecatonchires, the 100-handed ones, beings of overwhelming strength, each bearing 50 heads and 100 arms. But Uranus looked upon these children and feared them. Their strength disturbed him, their strangeness offended him, and so he forced them back into Gaia, hiding them deep within the body of the earth. Gaia groaned beneath their weight. Her children were trapped inside her, and her grief slowly hardened into anger. Gaia called to the Titans hidden within her. "My children," she said, "your father has acted cruelly. Who among you will stand against him?" The Titans were afraid. Only Cronus answered. He stepped forward, and Gaia placed in his hands a great sickle of adamant. Together, mother and son formed a plan. When Uranus descended once more to cover Gaia, Cronus waited in darkness. Then he struck. With one terrible sweep, he severed his father's power and cast it away. The heavens recoiled from the earth. Sky and ground, once pressed together, were separated. For the first time, space opened between them. The blood of Uranus fell upon Gaia, and from it arose new beings, the Furies, spirits of vengeance, the giants, and the Meliae, nymphs of the ash trees. Far away, where the severed remains of Uranus touched the sea, white foam gathered upon the waves. From that foam, according to one famous tradition, Aphrodite would one day emerge. Uranus withdrew into the heights, but before he vanished, he spoke a warning. Cronus had overthrown his father. One day, his own child would overthrow him. And so the first great victory of the gods carried within it the seed of the next rebellion. Cronus became ruler of the cosmos. He took his sister Rhea as his queen, and for a time the world entered an age later remembered as golden. But Cronus could not forget the prophecy of Uranus. He had taken power from his father. His own child, he feared, would take power from him. So when Rhea gave birth to their first child, Hestia, Cronus swallowed her whole. Then came Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon. Each child disappeared into their father's darkness. Rhea mourned every birth. By the time she carried her sixth child, grief had become resolve. She went to Gaia and Uranus and begged them for help. They sent her to the island of Crete. There, hidden in a cave, Rhea gave birth to Zeus. She entrusted him to secret guardians, while armed dancers, the Curetes, clashed their shields to hide the infant's cries. Then Rhea wrapped a stone in swaddling cloth and carried it to Cronus. Blinded by fear, he swallowed it without looking. And so Zeus survived. Hidden from his father, the youngest son grew in strength. The prophecy still lived. When Zeus reached maturity, he left his hiding place. He could not allow his brothers and sisters to remain imprisoned within Cronus. With the help of Metis, the wise daughter of Oceanus, Zeus prepared a draft that forced Cronus to release what he had swallowed. First came the stone, then Poseidon, Hades, Hera, Demeter, and Hestia. They emerged alive, divine and fully grown. The children of Cronus stood together at last, but Cronus would not surrender the throne. The older Titans gathered around him. Zeus and his siblings prepared for war. Before the struggle began, Zeus descended into Tartarus and freed the Cyclopes and the 100-handed ones, whom Uranus and Cronus had imprisoned. In gratitude, the Cyclopes forged weapons for the new gods. To Zeus they gave the Thunderbolt. To Poseidon they gave the Trident. To Hades they gave a helm that made its wearer unseen. The 100-handed ones offered their immeasurable strength. The cosmos divided into two great camps. The age of the Titans was about to collide with the age of the Olympians. For 10 years, the war raged. The Titans fought from Mount Othrys. Zeus and his allies fought from Mount Olympus. The earth shook beneath them. The sea boiled. The heavens flashed with fire. Zeus hurled thunderbolts until the sky itself seemed to burn. The 100-handed ones lifted stones in their countless hands and cast them in storms against the Titans. Mountain struck mountain, flame crossed darkness. The old order struggled against the new. At last, the strength of the Olympian alliance broke the resistance of Cronus and his followers. The defeated Titans were driven into Tartarus. There, behind gates of bronze, the 100-handed ones became their guards. Not every Titan had opposed Zeus. Themis, Mnemosyne, Oceanus, and others found places within the new divine order. But the reign of Cronus had ended. The prophecy was fulfilled. The Son had overthrown the Father, just as the Father had once overthrown his own. Zeus stood victorious. Yet victory alone could not create order. The universe still had to be governed. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades cast lots to divide the realms of the cosmos. Zeus received the sky. Poseidon received the sea. Hades received the shadowed kingdom of the dead. The earth and Olympus remained shared ground. Zeus became ruler among the gods, but he did not rule an empty universe. Ancient powers remained. Gaia still endured beneath every mountain and city. Night still crossed the heavens. The sea still answered to forces older than Olympus. Destiny itself stood beyond the command of any single god. The Olympians built their halls upon the mountain. A new divine generation had risen, but peace would not come easily. The gods would quarrel, love, betray, create, punish, and protect. They would shape the lives of mortals. And soon, one Titan named Prometheus would look upon humanity and decide that the fragile creatures below deserved something more. A gift, a danger, a spark stolen from the gods. Fire was coming, and with it, the human story would truly begin.
And so, this chapter returns to the greater story. Not as an ending, but as another thread carried forward through you.
The stories we inherit help us understand where we came from. The questions we ask help us decide where we go next. If this story awakened a memory, an idea, or a new way of seeing, carry it with you. Share it. Question it. And let it become part of what comes next. Continue exploring OneStory through our podcast and the OneStory app, where you and your family can create your own mythical story time and deepen your connection to our shared histories. Subscribe and join us for the next chapter.
One story.
Infinite lives.
One shared future. Until the next story.